Guys, it's Lori Stansel here. A few minutes late, but I'm better than I was the first time. The first time I was like 15 minutes late, so I'm getting there. One day at a time. That's a song we used to sing. So I just want to quickly introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Lori Stansel. I am an international speaker, a published author, a life strategist coach, and an entrepreneur. And today is Saturday Live with Lori, with me. So we're going to come together and talk. The whole idea is for us to get together and talk and share ideas and share information and learn and grow together. Because the way we're designed as human beings on this beautiful planet of ours is we are designed to be together, to do life together, to grow together, to love together. And although there may be times in our life where we need to be alone, we need to have a bit of solitude, that's not how we're meant to live. So let's get on here, jump on here, let me know where you're coming from. Let me know how your weather is. Today in New England, it is brisk, but it's sunny. So I'll take it. It's for March. I'll take it, considering that a few days ago we had snow on the ground, so I'm not complaining. You know, I was thinking about the topic that I wanted to talk about, and there's a couple of things in my head. I was going back and forth. There's so many things to talk about, but I came down to talking about distractions. And the reason why I want to talk about that is, hey, Sean, how are you? My high school buddy. Thank you for joining. I want to talk about distractions because it's something that was brought to my attention last week. I went to a conference, an annual conference, and one of the speakers was talking about distractions and how to deal with them and how to fight through them. And I have to admit, I mean, I'm a mom. I wear so many different hats, and I'm sure you all do too. I mean, Sean, you're your dad, so I'm sure your schedule is really busy too. How do you manage the distractions and still hit your goals and still hit your marks? And how do you know if a distraction is a sign of something you need to address or if it's an actual hindrance keeping you from where you need to go? Like, what's the difference? How do you distinguish the difference? You know, for me, I like to plan my day. I like to plan my week. I'm a planner. That's just my personality. But I've learned as I've gotten older and better and wiser that I need to leave some room for some spontaneity. So I need to not be so rigid and so controlling. I need to kind of loosen up a bit and allow myself that room to kind of figure it out. So sometimes for me, a distraction can be a signal that I need to loosen up or I need to focus on something. Like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm on the computer, I'm working, I'm zoned in, you know, I got that tunnel vision going, and my daughter comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, Mom, how you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm fine, I'm typing." But then there's this long pause where she doesn't say anything. Now, that is a distraction, right? Wouldn't you call that a distraction? Because I'm in the middle of doing something and now my attention is being pulled somewhere else. But for me, I've learned those are signals to stop what I'm doing and to pay attention to my daughter because in that moment, she needs me. There's something she needs to talk to me about. So I guess you kind of have to learn the difference between a distraction that's a hindrance and a distraction that really is a signal that you need to kind of pay attention to what's going on. Sometimes it's the small things that can become big things if we don't address them. So what about those distractions that want to stop us? What about those distractions that are trying to get in our way? I know for me, I can be my own worst enemy. And one of my distractions that's a negative distraction for me is not talking myself out of things. You know, I get a good idea, and then as soon as I get the good idea, then I'm like, oh, I don't know. Will they like it? How will they receive it? How will I come across? Will this be something that people will find it adds value? So sometimes I get in my own head and I stop myself before I even start. So that used to be a problem for me, getting in my own way and talking myself out of something. I mean, you'd be surprised how many things we can overcome if we just get our minds right, if we get our thinking straight, if we can unlearn some things and relearn some things. It's amazing how just that one thing that seems like it's so simple can literally shift our lives and turn us in a whole different direction. It really starts in the mind and what you're telling yourself, the story that you're telling yourself every day. What's the story that you're telling yourself when you wake up in the morning? When you open your eyes in the morning, are you saying, this is going to be a great day? Or are you opening your eyes up in the morning and saying, oh gosh, I got to get up again. Can't I just sleep 10 more minutes? Oh, it's a Monday again. I hate Mondays. I hate this day. I hate that day. What story are you rehearsing in your mind over and over again? Because that can be a distraction too. What we're telling ourselves. Because if we're going to be defeated or if we're going to win, it starts in the mind. It starts with what we feed ourselves. It starts with what we say. And then the end result is what we do, what we produce. But it starts in the mind. So that is a powerful distraction too. Another distraction can be friends. Sometimes when you are trying to grow and expand and go into a different direction, and you have those in your life that don't quite understand what you're doing. Sometimes when people don't understand something, they try to dismantle it or they try to talk you out of it because they don't understand. That's a distraction. That is a distraction, and that's a hindrance. And that's something that we have to all come against because we love our friends, right? We love our family members. We love those people that have been there for us, that have supported us, that have poured into us, that have sown into us, that have believed in us. And now we're shifting gears and we're going in a different direction. And those same friends that maybe in the past were there for us, they don't quite know what we're doing. They don't quite get it. And so what do you do? How do you handle that? How do you handle still loving them and still wanting them to be in your life and be a part of your life and moving on in a sense, or moving in that direction regardless of what they think? So you want to push through despite the opposition. Now, let me preface, you do need constructive criticism. I need constructive criticism. We all need someone on the outside looking in saying, no, try again. We all need that. So I'm not saying to completely ignore constructive criticism. There's a difference. Let me just stop here. There is a difference between criticism that is constructive and criticism that's critical. So a person can have a critical attitude, or they can have a constructive criticism, suggestion that can help you, or they can have a critical attitude. A critical attitude is a person who has embraced the thinking that everything is negative. There's a negative outlook. There's a negative connotation, and they want you to be that same way. Oh, you're always like this, or that never works out, or I don't understand why they always do that. That's so wrong. Constant negativity. Now, a person who's giving you constructive criticism they're giving it to you in a spirit of love. That's how you're going to be able to distinguish the two. The person speaking to you with a critical attitude is bitter, right? If you ever had something bitter, what do you want to do? You want to get that thing out of your mouth because it's not going to work. It's bitter. You can't enjoy it. You can't swallow it. It's got to go. And then someone who's giving you constructive criticism that is doing it in love, you're going to feel that love. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying, or even if you don't understand it or see it the way they see it, you're not going to be offended. You're less likely to be offended because they're coming from a place of love. And then also too, that person usually has permission to speak to you. to give you that criticism because you have a relationship with them, so it's easier to receive it. But now, getting back to our topic of distraction, if you don't know how to tell the difference between a person who is being constructive in their criticism and a person who has a critical attitude, that can be a distraction. How can that be a distraction? Well, first and foremost, it can be a distraction because now you are taking your focus off of what you want to do, and now you've shifted, and now you're focusing on what they're saying to you. So that now slows you down. That takes away your time. It takes away your energy. And if you stay focused on that critical attitude, that energy that's coming at you, then before long, you're going to stop. So now that distraction has just succeeded in getting you to stop moving forward, to stop doing what you're supposed to do, to stop living your life to the fullest, reaching that goal, acquiring that thing that you want, reaching that objective, making that achievement. Now that critical attitude has stopped you. Instead of you saying, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but I'm picking up in my heart and in my spirit that this is coming from the wrong place. So I'm going to quickly process this thing here, and I'm going to extract what I need, if there's anything in it that I need, and then I'm going to move on. Because sometimes there is some truth in what a person's saying. They may be delivering it in a wrong way, or in a way that's hurtful or bitter, but there is something in there that you can extract, use it to tweak what you're doing, and then keep it moving. So, as they used to say back in the day, or I don't know, they're still saying it now, you eat the fish and you spit out the bones, right? You don't swallow the bones. So if someone is giving you something and it's a critical vibe, a critical attitude attached to it, maybe you don't want to outright reject it. Maybe you want to take a look at it and say, is there some truth? Is there something that I need to learn or glean? But take what you need to take, discard the rest, and keep it moving. Don't let that distraction stop you. Another distraction, and I know this is coming out of left field, but I'm into this thing, so it's kind of my passion. But another distraction can be your physical health and how healthy you are. You know, the life that we have been given is a gift from God. And the way we live our lives is a gift back to Him. And it's a gift to the world. Because everything that God has deposited in you and in me is not for us. It is to be given out to help others. And in that, we then are helped. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says it is better to give than to receive. And it's true. Because it creates a cycle. It creates a never-ending cycle of blessings, of positivity that just keeps going and going and going. So in order to really live a life without distractions, you have to be healthy. Hey Pam, how you doing, girl? How's everything down in Maryland? Thanks for joining in. You have to have a healthy body. Remember how I said earlier a distraction could be in your mind, and how if you just change your mind, if you just change how you're thinking, you can win a lot of battles just in your mind alone. Hey girl, hey Ida, how you doing, Ida? Our bodies can be a distraction if we're not healthy, if we're not fit, if we're not where we're supposed to be, if we're not functioning at an optimum level, then that can stop us from living life to the fullest. That can stop us from getting to a place where we can execute the way we're supposed to. And that is a distraction. You know, how many times have you seen people that are, suffering physically, and you wonder to yourself, man, I wonder what kind of life they had before. Or I wonder what kind of life they could have if they didn't have these issues. So our physical bodies, our health, if we're not healthy, if we're not where we're supposed to be, if we're not fit, that's a distraction. You can't complete something if you're not able to complete it. I'll give you an example. I know my daughter's going to hate this, but I'm kind of using her as my example. My daughter, hey Auntie Gwen, how you doing? My daughter had to run a mile. That was her assignment for gym. So everyone in gym class had to run a mile, and in order to pass, you had to complete the mile. And a lot of the kids, including Shaylin, struggled with running the mile because they were distracted by their own physical body. They weren't able to do it. She did. She passed. She was able to run that mile. Woohoo! But it was a struggle for her because she wasn't where she was supposed to be physically. So some of your physical body can be a distraction as well. Another distraction can be electronics. As I'm sitting here on Facebook Live, right? No shade. Love Facebook. Thumbs up if we love Facebook. Thumbs up. Give me some hearts if we love Facebook. But social media can be a distraction. How many times have you been in a restaurant or been on talking to someone and you're having this really great conversation and you think the person is listening to you, and all of a sudden they got their phone in their hand, their face is down, and they're just engrossed in that screen? That's a distraction. How do you know if I'm not getting ready to say to you, I'm about to give you $1,000, or I'm about to write you a check for $10,000 for your favorite nonprofit organization, and you missed an opportunity because your face is buried in the phone? Sometimes our electronics can be a distraction. There has to be a healthy balance or harmony in our electronics and what we do. And, I'm preaching to myself. I am preaching to myself because every single week I have to remember that I need to be harmonized and balanced in how much time I spend online, how much time I spend with my family, how much time I spend praying, how much time I spend working out. I have to create a lifestyle where there's harmony and balance, and I have to remind myself because there's so many good things on the internet, right? There's so many good videos to watch, like mine. I hope you're watching. There's so many good things that you can do, but sometimes a good thing can become a bad thing if it gets you distracted from your goal. If it pulls you away from what you're supposed to be doing, if it pulls you away from the things that you have to get done. Let's see. Anybody else have any distractions that you've struggled with? I know for me, social media is definitely a distraction. For some people, a distraction can be their phones, and not just social media, but texting. Always texting. One of the things that I've learned to do, and this might be a habit that you guys might want to do, I take my phone when I need to focus, like on if I'm having a conversation or if we're having a family meeting or anything like that. I'll take my phone and I'll put it either in another room or I'll put it in my purse, and I'll put my purse in another room. And that way, if it's beeping and dinging and ringing and all that crazy stuff, I can't hear it. So if I can't hear it, it's not going to pull my attention. So that's what I do. Now, the problem that I'm finding that I'm having now is I forget to get the phone. So when I'm done doing what I'm doing, the phone is still in the other room, and people are trying to call me because I don't have a landline, and people are trying to call me, and I'm like out of here, So that's another thing I got to work on, to remember to get the phone and bring it back into the room with me when I'm done. But again, electronics, social media, texting, all of those things are great things. But like I said before, a great thing can become a bad thing if it's not in balance, if it's not in harmony, or if you abuse it. If you abuse it, it can become a bad thing. So guys, any questions? I think I'm done giving you all of my list of distractions. Anything you can think of you want to ask me? Was this video helpful to you? Did it kind of give you some insight? Did it encourage you in any way? One of the things I want to say before I end is that we're in a season now where you really have to focus. I know I made this a very light video, but on the serious side, we're in a season now where you have to be focused. The days are shorter. Time is going by faster. whatever you're going to do, you have to do it with intention. You have to do it with passion. You have to do it with consistency. You have to do it with laser sharp focus. You cannot afford not to move. We're living in a time where you have to rise up, let your voice be heard, and do those things that you've always wanted to do. There used to be a time where you could wait and kind of, I don't know, me think about it. That time is over. That time is over. We're living in a season where you need to get up, you need to get moving. And whatever issues that you have that you're dealing with, you need to figure them out as you go. There's a season of preparation and there's a season of action. And I feel like for many of you who are watching this video, I won't call you out, but I know one in particular. She and I have had a conversation about this. This is a season of action. This is a season of action. Yes, Pam, be intentional. Just spoke that word to someone. Yes. And I was thinking about you when I made that comment, Pam, that this is a season of action. There's a time where you do steal away. There's a time where you prepare. There's a time where you develop. But this is a season where you need to step out. And in seasons where you need to step out, in seasons where you need to take action, that's when you are distracted the most. Isn't that interesting? When you're not doing anything, when you're not making a difference, when you're not having an impact, when you're not increasing your influence, nobody distracts you, right? Nobody cares. But the minute you decide in your heart that you're going to step out and you're going to do something, you're going to be intentional, you're going to be purposeful, you're going to live in your purpose on purpose. The minute you decide you want to live a life that is pleasing to God, that's a life that brings contribution to society, to improve society. The minute you start doing that, that's when all the distractions come. Isn't that interesting? So sometimes a distraction, like getting back to the beginning of the video, sometimes a distraction can be a sign that you are on to the right thing. You know, because all of these things are coming at you. And it's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like, I just decided to go change my job, and all of a sudden I have to deal with all these other things. What's going on? Sometimes that's a sign that you are in the right direction. Okay, Pam, what are you saying? My biggest distraction is helping others before me. Yeah. Yeah, Pam. Yep, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I think as women and as mothers, I think that because we are our nurturers by nature, even if we don't have children, we just are. That's how God designed us to be. I think that it's just a natural kind of an default setting for us to just put other people before us. And there's a time when that's appropriate. But I think the key is learning when to turn that mirror on yourself. And also learning to recognize that it's okay to turn that mirror on yourself. You know, it's okay to take care of Pam. It's okay to take care of Carlene. It's okay to take care of Gwen. It's okay to take care of Lori. Because when I do that, now I'm better able to take care of everybody else. If I don't take care of my body, if I don't take care of my mind, if I don't take care of my spirit, then everybody connected to me is going to suffer. Last year, or maybe the year before last, I heard this powerful message by a dear friend of mine, Pastor Candy LaFleur. She pastors, her husband pastor Maranatha Church of God in Christ in Chicago, Illinois. Shout out to Maranatha. And one of the things she said was, she was encouraging us to pray in the Spirit. You know, if you're a Christian, you'll understand what that means. Pray, basically pray. Build your spirit up. Build your renewed spirit up. And she gave a funny example about how whenever she prayed, her kids were like, wow, you're so nice. When you pray, you know what? Whatever you're doing in that room, keep doing it. Because we like you when you come out. You nice. You nice, mommy, when you come out. When you don't pray, you not nice, mommy. So, you know, and I'm making fun of it, but I want to bring a point home that when you take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. And you can give them, because you're giving them what you have in excess. Okay? In other words, like this cup here I have, it's filled with water. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the line right there. So, right there. So, I have some to give. So, if somebody needs some water, I can give you some, but I can't, listen, don't get greedy because I don't have a lot. I can only give you a little bit. But if my cup is, if the water line is here, the cup line is here, my water line is here, and someone wants water, I'm more free to, I'm more free to give. Speaking of, let me get some water. I'm more free to give because I have more to give. So yes, Pam, being a distraction sometimes is putting others before you. And another thing too, Pam, now I just thought about it too. It just came to me. Maybe someone needs to hear this. But supporting other people's dreams and visions and really being that person, that cheerleader, the person that says, you can do it. I'm for you. I'm in your corner. I'm with you all the way. And that's fine. We need to be that for people. We need to help each other out, especially as women. We need to show the world that women can work together with dignity and with character and with integrity and with love without that bickering and all of that stuff. But one of the things you have to be careful that can become a distraction is you're so caught up and so engrossed in helping someone else reach their goals and reach their dreams that you forget about your own. Right? You forget about your own. You get caught up in someone else's whirlwind, right? Their whirlwind. And you forget that you have something that God has given you. You have something that's in you that needs to be released, that needs to be given out to the world. So again, helping other people is fine, but you have to have a balance. You have to have a boundary. You have to have a buffer. Where you're able to say, okay, I've given enough of my time in that direction, and now I need to refocus so that I can do the things that I'm supposed to do. I had to do that last year. Last year when I was assessing my year, there were a couple of things that I said I wanted to do that I hadn't done. And they were things that I had been saying for years, oh, I have to do this. Next year I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, next year I'm going to do it. And so last year, I'm thinking to myself, why haven't I done these things? I keep saying I want to do them. I keep saying, now we're talking about distractions. I keep saying that these are things that I need to do. I keep saying these are things that God told me to do. Why haven't I done them? I had to be honest with myself. What I had to do then was I had to look at my life and I had to look at the things that I was doing currently. And I had to assess their value. I had to assess whether or not these things were producing the outcome that I wanted. And I discovered that there were some things in my life that I was doing that were good, that were helpful, but they were not producing what I had hoped. And so I had to decide, do I continue doing these things or do I shift priorities? Oh, yes, keyword priorities. Yes, yes, yes. Do I shift priorities so that I could do what I'm supposed to do that might produce more? And so once I made that decision and I felt I had peace about it, then I was able to shift my priorities and shift my focus. And I'm glad I did, because we're in the month of March, and already in the month of March, I have been more productive in these 3 months than I was the last 6 months of last year. I did do things last year. I did get a lot done, but I can tell there's a different momentum. There's a different speed. There's a different energy to what I'm doing now as opposed to what I was doing before. So, that also goes back to distractions. What I was doing was good, but it was distracting me, or it was keeping me from doing what I knew I needed to do next. So what's coming next for you? What's that thing that you know is next? Again, it goes back to, we're in a season of taking action. We're in a season of moving forward. We're in a season of stepping up, stepping out, and rising up and letting our voice be heard. And so in that season, there are many distractions. So what is it? Let me ask you, what is it that you know you're supposed to be doing, but you're being distracted? Perhaps You don't have to answer the question. It's kind of a rhetorical question. You can if you want, but I'm not putting anybody on blast because this is the World Wide Web and people are watching. And but you don't have to necessarily answer the question. But it's for you to think about, what is it that you know you're supposed to be doing that you haven't done yet, and are you ready and willing? Because there's a difference between being ready and willing. Are you ready and willing to push past distractions and reprioritize so that you can do it? Because we're not getting more hours in the day. We're not. There is no 26-hour day. Okay, it's 24. So what are you doing to make these things happen? How are you pushing past those distractions? You're ready, but are you willing? Because a person can say they're ready. And I've had a lot of this happen when I'm coaching people. People are like, oh, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. But then when we start coaching, we start digging in deep, I realize, oh, they're ready, but they're not willing. There's a difference. So I want to leave you with that, that thought. What are you ready and willing to do? What are you ready and willing to reprioritize so that you can push through those distractions? Now, guys, listen, I promised you maybe 2 weeks ago that I was going to give away a prize. Now the prize is contingent on you being prepared, paying attention, and participating in these live events, because I'm going to be saying things along the way, and then I'm going to ask you questions about what I've said, and whoever's the first person to give the correct answer, they will get a prize. Now, I was thinking about the prizes that I want to give, because I give good gifts. You can ask my family. I give good gifts. So one of the prizes I was thinking about, because most of us are women. Well, there was a guy on here earlier. I don't know if my buddy Sean is still on here, but most of us are women. So I'm really into healthy products, pure ingredients. I found that my life has been a lot better when I invest in that way. And so I want to encourage everyone to think about doing that too. So there's a company called All Natural Cosmetics, and they are amazing, all natural vegan company, and they make really beautiful foundations and lip color and different makeup products for your skin. Wonderful company. Actually was started by a woman who was fed up with wearing makeup that broke her skin out. You know, she loved makeup, but she had to stop wearing it because her skin would just get so messed up that she was like, you know, this is it. I can't continue. Hey, Kim, how you doing, girl? I can't continue wearing this makeup because this makeup is hurting my skin. So she kind of was prompted by a frustration, and now she realized her passion. So the company's called All Natural Cosmetics, and the hashtag they use is Clean Beauty Revolution. So here's a bag. So this is going to be the prize for the person that can accurately answer a question that I'm going to ask, not today, next week. So you got to come back next week at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m., to find out what the question is. But in the bag, here's the bag, Clean Beauty Revolution. Okay, cute bag, isn't it? We all like our bags, right? So what you're going to get from moi, courtesy of All Natural, is you're going to get a color kit. So really what this is a sample kit. So for people who want to try their products, but they're not sure if the foundation is going to work, they're not sure if they're going to like the consistency, they will send you, based on your hue, a color palette. So you have, like, I think 2 or 3 different shades within that color hue, and then you have a lip color, and you have a finishing powder, but they're all small sizes so that you can sample it to see if it's something that you like. So this will be your gift. So you'll get the bag, you'll get your sample, which, oh, we love samples. Ooh, don't we love free stuff? I do. And you're going to get a free, I don't know if I have it upside down, a free lip color. Isn't that cool? So, you know, you're getting a really good prize for free, because this sample is probably about $25. The lipstick might be about the same, maybe a little bit less. And you get the bag. So you're talking maybe a $50 value for free if you are the first to answer correctly the question that I asked. Now, if you're a guy and you get it right and you don't want this, okay, I have another prize for my gentlemen friends. No, well, maybe the women. We'll see. But I'm doing a 3-day webinar, April 30th, May 1st, May 2nd, and it's an exclusive coaching webinar. I'm going to be taking you through the process that I went through to get free, to get out of my head, to get set free from self-doubt and insecurities, and live a life that I loved again, creating a world that not only was a blessing to me, but a blessing to others, and to realize my dreams. I'm going to take you on the journey that I went through, the starting part of that journey that I went through to get you unstuck. If you're stuck, if you feel like, okay, I've achieved some measure of success, but I'm just stuck. I can't get past this level. I need a breakthrough. This is for you. Or if you are looking to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, this is for you. So this is the flyer, guys. So the gentleman that answers the question correctly next week, the first one, they will get 10% off of the registration price for this 3-day webinar. And this 3-day webinar is going to be powerful because you're going to not just get 3 days with me, but you're also going to get my notes. You're also going to get access into a secret Facebook group, and you're going to also be able to have the recordings. So you'll be able to go back and listen to those recordings anytime that you want to. It is a full package deal, and you'll get 10% off. Now, ladies, if you don't want the makeup, which I can't see why you wouldn't, but if you don't want the makeup, we can negotiate for the other prize too. But I thought I better throw in something different because for my male brothers out there that is not interested in Clean Beauty Revolution makeup. So those are the 2 prizes. So make sure you come back next week, because I will be asking questions. And you know what, too? Make sure you watch the previous videos, because I might sneak in a question from another week. It may not be from this week. So make sure you catch up. Go to my life coach page. It's facebook.com/thegoodlifewithlori. And you'll see all the videos, and you can catch up and get caught up. I thank you guys for joining me. This was fun. I hope it was fun for you. It was fun for me. I appreciate you guys commenting and giving me thumbs up and giving me stars. Thank you. Hearts. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you guys again next Saturday, the 24th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, remember, don't let the distractions stop you. You're in a season where it's time to act, it's time to rise up, it's time to let your voice be heard, it's time to move forward. See you next week. Bye-bye.